about 2.5 years I had remained silent. I will tell you why also. But after the Hindenburg report came out, I decided it was time for me to speak. But before I tell you about my own experiences, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the Adani Group. And I think in the history of India, there's never been any business conglomerate that is not just expanded at a very, very fast pace, but also that it spread its presence across so many sectors and so many segments of India's economy. And I can say without any fear of contradiction that I don't think any business group ever was able to expand its reach so rapidly as the business group headed by Shri Gautam Adani has. You see, nobody had heard of him 20 years ago, even 50 years ago. Very few people knew about him. He was a college dropout. He started trading in diamonds and jewelry and plastics. And then during the Congress regime in Gujarat, he acquired land at Mundra, which is today India's largest special economic zone. It is also the biggest container port in the country, and it is the second biggest port after the public sector JNPT, Jawaharlal Nehru Port Trust, which is located in Navasheva near Mumbai. And what I wanted to say is that it's not just Mundra. Today the Adani Group operates 12 seaports across the west coast and the east coast of the country, including one in your state. And I'll just name them: Mundra, Dahej, Tuna, Hazira, all in Gujarat, Diki in Maharashtra, Marmagaon in Goa, of course Kerala, Vijayam, Katupalli, Ennore, both in Tamil Nadu, Krishnapatnam, Gangavaram, both in Andhra Pradesh, Dhamra in Orissa, and there is a proposal to develop another port in West Bengal, a place called Tajpur. Outside India, the Adani Group operates various ports, one of which is in Queensland in Australia, a place called Abbott Point, which is now called the North Queensland Export Terminal. It is linked to his coal mining project. He is also operating Israel's second largest port, which was recently inaugurated, a place called Haifa. And he's also operates a major terminal in Colombo. And he tried to set up a port in Myanmar, but that project never took off because international financial institutions did not provide him the funds that he was looking for. There's more in the area of logistics. He has what are called multimodal logistical parks across the country. A place called Patli in Gurgaon, Haryana, Kishangarh in Rajasthan, Kila Raipur and Kanej, which is Bota in Punjab. Then there is a place called Malur in Karnataka. He operates 6 inland cargo vessels. They connect the manufacturing centers of car manufacturers to the ports and the consumption centers. He has various agricultural logistics, what they call parks, storage infrastructure facilities in 9 states across India, operates 7 railway rakes, At one stage, the farmers of Punjab, when they were agitating, they were unhappy with the attempts made by the Adani Group to set up major grain storage facilities. In fact, the grain storage facilities that is provided by the group is the second largest after the Food Corporation of India, mainly in Punjab and Haryana. This is seaports and logistical parks. He is the biggest operator in terms of airports, not in terms of size, but in terms of numbers. He operates ports, the group rather, the Adani Group operates ports in Jaipur, Lucknow, Ahmedabad, Guwahati, Mangalore, Thiruvananthapuram, Mumbai, and a new airport which is coming up under construction. The biggest private operator actually is the GMR Group because they operate the Delhi airport, which is the biggest Indira Gandhi International Airport, and also the one at Hyderabad. Now, when you look at in terms of warehousing facilities, he has major warehousing facilities in Taloja, Nagpur, both are in Maharashtra, in Gurgaon, in Haryana, Chennai, Mundra, and at one stage there was speculation that he would be one of the bidders when the government was trying to privatize the Container Corporation of India. He's in defense and aerospace. He's tied up with an Israeli company to assemble and supply defense-grade UAVs, unmanned aerial vehicles, which are called drones. And he has major data centers. The group runs major data centers in Noida in Uttar Pradesh, Chennai in Tamil Nadu, and they're coming up. More are coming up in Hyderabad, in Mumbai. Now, one of the biggest profit centers of the Adani Group, which comes under Adani Enterprises, is their imports of coal. The Adani Group is the biggest importer of coal in India. It includes the imports he undertakes from coal mines that are operated by the same group in Indonesia and also in Australia, the Carmichael coal mine in the Galilee Basin. At one stage, this was supposed to be the world's largest greenfield coal mining project. But there were a lot of protests in Australia and the project had to be scaled down to 1/4 of what it was originally planned. There was talk that after the Prime Minister had visited Australia with the head of the State Bank of India, Mrs. Arundhati Bhattacharya, and Mr. Adani was in that group, the State Bank of India would give that loan of $1 billion, but that has not materialized. So it's not just as an importer. The Adani Group is the biggest miner of coal. They call them MDOs, that is mine, developer and operator. And there are 9 coal mines which are in the private sector which he operates. In fact, he's the second largest miner of coal after the public sector Coal India Limited. He's a major, he also mines iron ore in Bailadilla in Chhattisgarh. He has two projects in Orissa, one for alumina, the other for value add addition to iron ore, copper smelting in Mundra in Gujarat. He has a unique project which is yet to come up. It is coal gasification. From coal you make gas and from there you make plastics, PVC, polyvinyl chloride. So he's not just a miner of coal and an importer of coal, he's the biggest coal based generator of electricity in the private sector. I mean, he has projects in there are 11 projects. Some of them haven't taken off, but some of them are there. I mean, in fact, he's the second biggest generator of electricity after the public sector, National Thermal Power Corporation, the NTPC. His power projects are in Mundra in Gujarat, Tiroda in Maharashtra, Kawai in Rajasthan, Udupi, Karnataka, Raipur, Raigarh, Janjgir, Champa. He tried to take over a power project of DB Power, part of the Dainik Bhaskar group. It hasn't yet taken off now. It's been, I was told that the agreement is not being extended. Singrauli in Madhya Pradesh, Godda in Rajasthan, Chhindwara in Madhya Pradesh. That Chhindwara project also hasn't taken off. Anupur in Madhya Pradesh. Now the Bangladesh project is unique. Nowhere in the world do you have such a project. The Adani Group will be importing coal from its coal mines in Indonesia and in Australia. It will come by ship to the coast of Orissa, where they run a port called Dhamra, and from there it will go by railroad to Godda in Jharkhand, and the electricity that will be generated will be exported to Bangladesh. Now, Ravi Nair has done a very detailed investigation of the power purchase agreement and come to the conclusion that Bangladesh may be paying as much as 3 times higher price for coal. And there is a controversy in this regard. According to the Adani Power's own official declaration, there is a talk of some interim relief. After this report came out in Adani Watch, there's been a lot of talk about whether Bangladesh should continue with the project. But it's not just electricity that is generated from coal. It's also electricity that is based from solar energy and wind energy. And there are projects across the country, more than 30 projects. The Adani Green Energy project the hydrogen project hasn't taken off, with Total Energies of France putting on hold the project for making hydrogen. But that's not all in energy or in wind power. Wind power also, he has several projects, many in Gujarat. He is the biggest distributor of gas, city gas, to cities, after the public sector, Indraprastha Gas. So it's distributed piped natural gas. Also, they also make compressed natural gas for vehicles. But there are projects here in your state, besides Gujarat, Haryana, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Orissa, Maharashtra, Jharkhand, Assam, etc., etc., etc. It doesn't end there. He's a major presence in the media after he took over NDTV. Earlier, the Adani Group had invested in India TV, which is headed by Shri Rajat Sharma. He's the biggest distributor of apples in India. Apples that are imported from outside India, different parts of the world, and also apples which he sources from orchard owners in Himachal Pradesh, in Jammu and Kashmir. After he acquired Holcim's cement plants in India, including ACC, formerly Associated Cement Companies, and the Ambuja Cements, the Adani Group is the second biggest producer of cement in India. That's not over. Last item. Oh, there's some more. Sorry, few more. Edible oils. He imports edible oils from Indonesia and Malaysia. He has a tie-up with a Malaysian company called Wilmar. And they have a roughly 1/5 market share all over India. The Fortune brand, in different locations, in different geographies, The Fortune brand has a market share that varies between 25% and 33%. He's running 6 road projects, a real estate project, including the project to develop what is sometimes described as Asia's biggest slum, Dharavi in Mumbai. So, I don't think any corporate group could have expanded as quickly as the Adani Group has in this country. Now, most of you are aware of the Hindenburg Group and the report that it brought out. Let me try and answer some questions pertaining to, maybe you should ask, why am I here? Why did Comrade Sahadevan ask me to come here? I'm the only journalist whose name figures in the Hindenburg report. There are media organizations like CNBC, Economic Times, they are mentioned. But I'm the only journalist, and if you go through the Hindenburg report, several articles written by me while I was with the Economic and Political Weekly, before that, after that, articles that have been published in The Wire, articles that have been published in NewsClick, in this Australian website called Adani Watch. The report has drawn on these. If you visit my own website, which is paranjoy.in, you will find several show cause notices that were put up by me long time ago, 5 years ago, 6 years ago. So what the Hindenburg report has done is it's connected some of these dots, referred to all these reports, and what we have today is a 32,000 word report. Now, the Adani Group has denied the contents of his report. They said it's malicious. The chief financial officer spoke and said, these are short sellers. They are against India. They are against India's interests. There was the national flag of India was very prominent when he spoke. Then there was, at one stage he compared what was going on with what happened in the Jallianwala Bagh in Punjab, where he said the British used Indian soldiers to kill other Indians. But very frankly, very few of us could have imagined what happened would happen. On the 24th of February, after that, the share prices of Adani Group companies have come down. At present, there are many of the companies, the shares are at about half the level that were prevailing before the 24th of January. And also there are some companies like their share prices have come down by 3/4 or 75%. Now, very few people could have imagined that there would be, okay, his rise was very, very spectacular, but the fall in the prices of his shares was even more spectacular. I happen to be the only person, the only citizen of India against whom lawyers representing companies or corporate entities that are headed by Shri Gautam Adani lawyers have instituted 6 defamation cases against me. Not just me, my co-authors, the portals where I've been published. I'll mention a few of these cases so you know where I come from. In the Hindenburg report, and they are short sellers. What are short sellers? They are those who speculate in the stock markets. So you actually sell more than what you have. You short, as they say. And that's how you make money. So maybe Hindenburg, the founders of Hindenburg, Nate Anderson and others may have made a lot of money. I haven't made any money from the Hindenburg report. People ask me, did you help them out? I said, I heard about Hindenburg for the first time when the report came out on the 24th of January. I thought all along that Hindenburg was the name of the president of Germany when Hitler was in power. And they had an airship, a Zeppelin, where he wanted that airship to cross the Atlantic Ocean. But it caught fire and people died. And later on I learned that the name had been used because it symbolizes or epitomizes a man-made disaster. Be that as it may, very few of us could have imagined what happened. I certainly was very surprised. On the day before the budget, it was announced that the 20,000 crore FPO, that's a follow-on public offer of shares, had been fully subscribed. And then on the night after the presentation of the union budget on the 1st of February, it was announced that the public offer had been called off. This at 10:40 at night. And the following morning, Mr. Gautam Adani made a statement that he was morally obliged not to go on with the public issue. All of it surprised everybody. So I'll just mention in passing two of the cases against me and others, or three of the cases. In June 2017, me and three others, we wrote an article which was subsequently reprinted by The Wire. The name of the article is Modi Government's 500 crore bonanza to Adani. Please read it, it's available in The Wire. The article, to summarize it, said that the rules that are related to special economic zones, the rules that pertain to power projects in special economic zones were changed. And the biggest beneficiary was Adani Power. I also asked a question as to why the government of India was processing an application for refund of customs duties without first checking whether the duty had been paid. I was summoned by the Board of Trustees of the Samiksha Trust that owns the Economic and Political Weekly to Delhi and said that I had, by responding to the legal notice, by engaging the services of a lawyer pro bono to respond to the legal notice without the prior permission of the publisher, because the legal notice came in the name of the publisher, the editor, the writer, etc., etc., etc. So that was an act of grave impropriety. So I said that, look, I apologize that I didn't take your prior permission, but I don't think it's an act of grave impropriety. You can call it a technical error. Then I was told that I could not write any more articles under my name because my predecessors had not. I was told that the Board of Trustees was thinking of appointing a co-editor. And finally, I was told that I should not leave that room where I was there and pull down that article that had appeared on the website of the Economic and Political Weekly. I was also told that I had destroyed the ethos of the EPW, which is like an institution almost as old as this country. So I called up a former colleague of mine, pulled down that article. I told the trustees, now the article is no longer on the website, error 404 or something like that. And I asked for a piece of paper and I wrote out my resignation. I could not have imagined that so many people would support me after that. I told the world about what had happened. There were Nobel laureates like Professor Amartya Sen, Professor Angus Deaton, a person I hold in very high esteem, Professor Noam Chomsky. All of them came out in my support. I was very, very overwhelmed. Then a defamation case was instituted against me, my fellow authors, three others, and The Wire, the entity that runs The Wire, in courts in Gujarat, Bhuj, which is the capital of Kutch district in Mundra. The judge, the magistrate, ruled that the article can remain on the website, you can still read it there, but one sentence and one line should be removed. They did that. I appeared before the court. Then in May of 2019, just before the results of the Lok Sabha elections were announced, I was told that the case had been withdrawn against everybody, my three co-authors, The Wire, everybody except me. In January 2021, a non-bailable warrant of arrest was issued against me by the Magistrates Court in Mundra in Gujarat. Interestingly, it reached the Press Trust of India before it reached my lawyer. I was told that I had not appeared in court. My lawyer argued that this does not merit a non-bailable warrant. According to the guidelines of the Supreme Court, a bailable warrant could have been issued, and if I still did not appear, a non-bailable warrant can be issued. Be that as it may, I appeared in court before the magistrate, First Class Judicial Magistrate Pradeep P. Soni. I appeared again. I appeared in February. I appeared in March. And after that, I don't know. The case hasn't moved. A little more than 2 years ago, my colleagues and I, we wrote a series of 3 articles which talked about how a judge of the Supreme Court, he went on to head the National Human Rights Commission, Justice Arun Kumar Mishra. He had, the headline said he had given a parting gift, within inverted commas, of 8,000 crore rupees to the Adani group. I was, and my co-author, we were accused of lowering the esteem of the judiciary in the eyes of the people of India, and gag orders were issued against me, my colleague Abir Das Gupta, and NewsClick. In another separate case in Rajasthan, we were summoned there to appear before the village court in Barai, Rajasthan, which we did. Prabir Pirokasta, who heads NewsClick, he's 75 years old. D. Raghunandan, he's also a shareholder. He appeared, he's 73 years old. I'm 67 years old. So we all went there. We applied for the bail bond, we applied for sureties. So this is how it happened, and this is how I'm the only citizen of India against whom 6 cases are pending. So I have, because there's a court order against me, 2 court injunctions against me, I have some restrictions in passing my opinion. I mean, if you say, is it good or is it bad? I said, I can't say anything. What will happen? I said, I don't know. But the fact is, Mr. Adani used to be the 2nd or the 3rd richest man in the world. Today, he's not there in the top 20 list. So I have these restrictions on me, but I've given you certain facts. I've given you facts which are in the public domain, and I will respond to your queries, but I do not know if I'll be able to ask you all the questions, or I will be able to give you all the answers to your questions. A lot of people ask me, you feel vindicated? I said, of course I feel vindicated. People like me have been writing about what has been going on for 5 years, for 6 years. Nobody took notice. People said, what do you think of the allegations? Round-tripping, related party transactions. I said, I'm not the person who will be able to say. Ask the Securities and Exchange Board of India. Ask the government of India. Ask the law enforcing agencies. I'm a journalist. I report. I'm doing my job as a journalist. So this is where I come from. And I thank everybody here for listening to me patiently. And thank you once again for listening to me. Thank you.